Today we are just planting a small seed along 522 Bell Street, Pascoe South. As you can see from our logo, we have selected the green tree as supported by my good friend and colleague Matt, representing migrant suffering community. This tree I would like to become a global rainforest in time to come. So our ultimate aim of Australian Institute of Migraine is ending migraine. I think this is very possible during our lifetime. The reason that I bugged so many of you, pulling you out of your comfortable academic institutions at the last minute, you probably curse inside your mind why the hell he is doing this, but you are becoming part of this great rainforest that we are going to grow. This is the best thing that you would be doing as a human being on this planet. This is still not the official ranting, so more to come. Just enjoy some food and drinks and intermingle with each other. And anything that you are not comfortable, put the full blame to me, and I'm happy to take that on behalf of the entire crew. Thank you so much for coming at the last minute.
So now that we've had our Channel 9 crew, thank you for coming, Sean, Ryan, and thanks to the team from Channel 9 and everyone watch out on 9 News tonight. We've had great support from the media. Channel 10 was in here on Saturday, and we've had contact with every network and all the health editors in Australia who are all very, very interested in migraine. They understand how prevalent it is and how much more attention it needs, and they're really excited that the Australian Institute for Migraine is doing so much work that really is a world first. So as I mentioned, we're waiting for an Aboriginal elder to come, but we are here officially starting our event, and we are on Wurundjeri land of the Kulin Nation, and it's obviously really important to know where we are and to understand that we're on land that hasn't been ceded. It is and was and always will be Aboriginal land, and we pay our respects to the elders, and by starting things proper way and paying the respects, it's a really good way to begin with an institute like this. So I'm just going to run through. We're just going to have 5 minutes from so many great people that are here today that Tissa has invited, and you've all been able to make yourselves available. We've got some wonderful patients, we've got some very diverse members of Parliament, and some academics, and so such a great mix of people collaborating, all aiming to end migraine. So without further ado, I'd love to welcome who's first on the list, is Councillor Mark Riley, the Mayor of Moreland City Council.
Thank you. Thanks everyone. Uncle Ringo obviously hasn't made it, but if he comes, I'm sure we'll fit him in. He's one of my favourite elders in terms of, I shouldn't say those sort of things, but I just did. I love the way he does a welcome to country. He just did it yesterday for our opening of the hub in Glenroy, which is a fabulous international class building that we just opened for our community, and he did a wonderful smoking. So, based on that, I would just like to do my own acknowledgement of the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung, who are the traditional owners of this country that we're standing on between the Moonee Ponds Creek and the Merri Creek, and for our little bit of it, but they have a much broader country around the northern parts of Melbourne. And I want to pay my respect to them of the past, those elders from the past, those of the present who we've been working with on changing the name of our city, and for all those emerging Indigenous folks here. But any First Nations people here, and to who actually really contribute to the life of the city, but also to all elders present. I'm sure there are plenty from different communities. I just want to mention that Moreland is you're probably aware that Moreland is changing its name because of the kind of issues that we've just talked about. We're in the process of doing some truth-telling and reconciliation. And on Saturday we received 3 new names. One's Wadambek, which means renew, which could be a nice name for this kind of work. The other one is Jarang, which is gum leaf, and the nana gum is a really important gum to the Wurundjeri. and the other one is Merrybeck, and that's rocky ground, but it rings well with the Merry Creek, which is one of the key waterways. I just want to say very few words briefly. I'm not going to list everyone because this was thrown together fairly last minute, but I just want to acknowledge Donald Halfpenny, the honourable member for Thomastown, and any other MPs who might be around. And John Sipek from Mary Valley, welcome John, thank you for coming today. And any other dignitaries. I'm just going to leave it at that, Risa. But I do want to say that I am somebody who lived and has lived experience of migraine, so it's part of the reason why I was very pleased to be invited. And I'm one of the very fortunate people who actually grew out of them, but I had them very seriously as a teenager. And I actually had my teeth adjusted and I changed my diet, and we never know what caused them, but I'll be fascinated to understand some of that. I know there's a lot of research then, but I'm very fortunate to have grown out of them, and I would not wish migraines on my worst enemy. And that's saying something, because some of them do need a little bit of brain adjustment, because otherwise why would they be my enemy? But I don't think the solutions that you're looking for are going to address that issue. But migraine is such a serious issue, and it affects so many millions of people, and it affects their productivity and their ability to participate in communities. Our city is very committed to the well-being of our citizens, and we want to lift up everybody as much as we can and let them live to their full potential. And migraines really rob people and kids of all ages of their full potential. So the contribution that we all make every day to our families and our communities is so valued, and we want to make sure that this kind of work, this research and the work you're doing and that you will do with the Institute will hopefully bring some solutions, because solutions are what we all need to live together and work together peacefully, and to welcome all peoples of all backgrounds and all communities here. It's so wonderful to see you, and such a privilege to know that people are putting their brains into gear and solving this. I just want to also acknowledge your research communities, your medical and your caring communities, for all the work you've done over the last couple of years. It's incredibly stressful, and it's even probably as stressful now, from what I understand, for the practitioners and the nurses and all of the carers. So just from this little mayor to all of you and your communities, please send a message out. We value your work, and we just hope you can continue to hold in there. Meanwhile, if you've got a migraine, you might even get some good news coming from Risa, and hopefully there'll be some great solutions. So I'll leave it at that, and welcome and congratulate you on this initiative, and look forward to some results and talking more later. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. Next, I'd like to introduce three main movers and shakers in the world of migraine. Between them, we have 150 years of dedication to ending the suffering of those who experience migraine. Between them, they're also going to explain why AIM is leading the way and so much the way forward. A couple of them are zooming in on video, if we can get it to work. The first is we're going to have some international recognition shining through from the Emeritus Professor David Dodick of the Mayo Clinic.
Just on cue, the TV decided to switch itself off.
That's okay. I will speak on behalf of them. Professor David Dodick. Professor David Dodick is the Mayo Clinic director. He's emeritus professor now. He was the past president International Headache Society. He was the past president American Headache Society. If you ask from me who are the top three guys in headache medicine in the world ever to exist, David Dodick is one of them. He has partnered with us on many international projects in the past. When I chaired the World Brain Day campaign in 2019, creating history in the world, we were able to reach out to 100 million people worldwide, advocating for better care for migraine at that time, and he supported me unconditionally in that mission. To the extent that this year I got him as my co-chair to promote brain health as the 2022 World Brain Day campaign. So more to come with him. We got a speech from him until Matt gets to that. I will talk a little bit more about the second video that I'm going to play together.
Ah, that is the first one.
So we'll see whether we can hear David now.
And hopefully that is one we can go
He is one of the patrons of Australian Institute of Migraine, and he's saying that how much an honor for him to be a matron and how much itching for him to come here and work with us eventually as we continue to cross-pollinate young and older generations to promote better migraine care. And he's also mentioning about the World Brain Day campaign that we did together at that time. It's a very
Yes,
short
sir.
message.
I want to send you both a hearty congratulations for launching the Australia Institute of Migraine and really heartfelt gratitude for putting migraine on the map, both locally in Australia as well as globally. You've really taken on an amazing leadership role within the World Federation of Neurology. You've advocated for migraine, and you even spearheaded World Brain Day's dedication to migraine for the first time back in 2019. 5 million people in Australia are impacted by migraine, resulting in both a significant human toll as well as an economic cost to the country of over $36 billion a year. That's akin to the government of my native country in Canada giving every citizen $1 billion every year. It's a lot of money. Indeed, migraine is the most common neurological disorder in the world. It's the most common neurological disorder that neurologists manage in clinical practice. And it remains second among the world's most disabling medical conditions. And it is indeed the most disabling medical condition among young women. But it doesn't have to be that way. And we can change this. We can change it by raising awareness, as you're doing, of the biological nature of this disease, and sounding a call to action for more education in undergraduate and postgraduate medical settings, and taking advantage of the myriad of pharmacological as well as non-pharmacological treatment options that can massively reduce the expression and burden of this disease and improve the quality of life for the people who are impacted. You know, Australia has a remarkable history of migraine research, beginning with Professor James Lance more than half a century ago, all the way up to the present, when Peter Goadsby, a student of Professor Lance's, was awarded the Brain Prize in Neuroscience for his more than 3 decades of research that led to the development of the newest therapies for migraine and the only disease-specific treatments for prevention that are currently available. The Australia Institute of Migraine now has the potential to build on that rich legacy, provide a real sense of empowerment and hope for patients, and be a motivating stimulus to healthcare practitioners to optimize the care of patients and prioritize the transformative research in migraine, for which Australia has become world-renowned. It's a singular honor for me to be a patron of the Australia Institute of Migraine. Congratulations. I can't wait for my next visit to your fantastic country for a personal visit and to see your center up close. Thank you.
So the next video is going to be Professor Peter Goadsby. Professor James Lance, late Professor James Lance, some of you know that we have been having annual Lance Goadsby Symposium, now become an international event virtually since COVID. For the 5th year, we are going to launch it from here in July. Professor Lance Goadsby is the first neuroscience chair that Australia had ever seen. In a way, what we are doing here today is what probably late Professor James Lance would have thought in New South Wales 60 years ago when he was planting the first neuroscience department in bare land. Professor Peter Goadsby is his best student. We lost him because we didn't have enough support to keep him with Australian research in Sydney or Melbourne. He now lives half-time in UK, half-time in USA, but he had been an ardent supporter for us and overwhelmingly accepted our invitation to become the second patron for Australian Institute of Migraine. This is a very short, under 1 minute video. In typical Australian American style, he hit the nail on the head. So you listen to him now, Professor Peter Goadsby.
Hi, my name's Peter Goadsby. It gives me great pleasure to send this message of good wishes and success to the Australian Institute of Migraine. The Institute will capture and channel the historical strength of Australian neurology and headache disorders as developed by Professor James Lance. The knowledge and new therapies that are becoming available to our patients and the unbounded enthusiasm of Professor Tissa Wijaratne, the Institute's founder. Migraine serves no less than the best, and I'm sure the Institute will act as a local and regional catalyst to improve the lives of those affected by disabling headache disorders. Good luck for this important mission, and thank you.
So Tissa's going to chat to us more a bit later. And by the way, I've done a lot of work with Tissa over the years. Would you believe in 2019 we were marching the streets of Melbourne carrying these placards, and it was quite a march, but really just to highlight that it's such a disabling condition and really does need to be brought to everyone's attention. So anyway, the next person I'd like to introduce is Matt Martin. Matt's been working on the website and also has a very long association working with Tissa, which maybe you want to share a little bit about your time with Matt so that we can then maybe integrate that.
Matt is a tech wizard, but the reason that he's here is not because of all those things. His wife, Petra, suffered from migraine, and she is a textbook description of what migraine can do to human joy. One of the federal members who are not here once told me that this migraine doesn't kill people. I told him that migraine doesn't kill people, but migraine does kill human joy completely, and that's worse than killing people. Matt, you are representing the 1 billion migraine patient community today. My eternal gratitude for all your work from Migraine Walk website, the 2 applications that we are going to launch, but I'm not qualified to tell about those things. We also combine countries. Some of you know that my native country who baked me, who made me, beautiful Sri Lanka is burning at the moment, and we are creating a birth of similar thing in Sri Lanka at the same time, in parallel. Couldn't do it today, but we are determined to bring that country up as best as we can. So make sure that your next holiday destination is Sri Lanka. We need your dollars significantly. Matt, coming back to migraine, so unleash what you have got, but share some of your the stories about impact of migraine in family life also.
Thank you, Tessa. 1 billion people I represent right now, so no pressure. So Matt Martin, I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Interact Technology. I just want to say thanks to Delaney and Tessa for asking me to talk. 2 purposes is one, to show you some of the technology behind what we've done with AIM. But the other one, as Tissa has mentioned, is my wife Petra was meant to be here, but I flew down from Sydney, but unfortunately she has a migraine. And she's had it for 16 years, and she can't work anymore, so it's completely taken away her livelihood and her career. She spends 5 of 7 days in a darkened room, so it is completely debilitating. When I told her about AIM, she started to cry. And I said to her, why are you crying? And she said, hope, to change a life. And that's the impact of what Tessa set up here, this multidisciplinary approach, completely unique in this country and really, really important to people with migraine. So I'm going to show you now a little bit more about technology. So a little bit of enabling Tissa behind the scenes and the multidisciplinary specialist team is technology. And there's a couple of things I just want to show you that we've worked on. One is the website. Since I'm the only one that can control this, move over here.
Here you go, I'll hold it next to you. We all wear many hats.
You might just have to take my word for it.
So until Matt get the website, so what we envisage to do is, because we want to serve the entire nation, not taking over other people's tasks, for those people who can't access high quality specialist and specialty services, we want this website to be really user friendly and someone from Alice Springs, someone from Kimberley accessing quality services. That's one task. We are also unleashing 2 applications where everything is seamless process. When a clinician see a patient, data get entered into the platform that they are using, that then get married to a different data set and all the clinical parameters come on board. As you can see, we have optometry, clinician, academic leaders here, physiotherapy, nursing, all kinds of academics, occupational therapy, in Brendan and his crew. So our ultimate aim is to connect all these dots together so that we can actually end the migraine. Website is not fully functional that Matt will be unleashing just as yet, but we hope in about a week or 2 weeks it will be.
Look, I might just have to talk about it because it's not going up on the screen. I had nothing to do with the Chromecast. But we've got a website, stage 1, it's instituteofmigraine.com.au has been released. That's one of 10 versions that are going to be out there. It includes education, also virtual connection, so patients wherever they are in Australia can get to here. The other one is that you're using behind the scenes is our Interact Migraine platform. That's in the consulting room, so assessment and scales. It connects live to a patient app where they can have passive and active information coming in real time back to the clinic. And thirdly is an app that was worked on by some kind of people in Sri Lanka, which is going out to the general public, where they can actually feedback, and perhaps Tizzy, you can talk a little bit about that and maybe at the same time start up a migraine centre in Colombo.
So given that migraine is the most underdiagnosed disorder, this application basically would throw about 12 very simple questions to patients. These are well-validated questionnaires that we have piggybacked to create this application. And that will be available in both Android and Apple devices in about 48 to 72 hours time. It's available on web. So anywhere in the world, in English at the moment, we can access that. But our tech research back in Sri Lanka, as you can imagine, they are multilingual, multi-language skilled folks, and we have Matt's teams here. Australia is a very multicultural country also, and we plan to convert them into all key languages very soon. So that would hopefully give a tool to the community that before they even see any healthcare worker, they themselves can see whether they have migraine or not as a screening, and then they can get to their primary care workers. Again, another world first.
So your first here, I'm wondering, have we covered exactly what AIM is about and what we're doing? Does everyone feel that they have a good sense of that, or is anyone? Okay, just checking. So having said that, because there will be a chance to ask questions afterwards as well, I'd like to invite the honorary $1.5 penny, who's the state member for Thomastown.
I didn't know that I was speaking, so I'll do as well as I can. So I can't acknowledge all the very important people and dignitaries and representatives of the medical and academic fields, and of course, like was previously said, we thank you so much for all the work you're doing in this terrible time. And thank you to Tissa for giving me the honour to be here and speak. And I should also, of course, acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting today and pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging, and also to acknowledge the devastation that colonialisation has had on Aboriginal people both in the past and continuing on to this very day. I think it's so good to be here. I think it was maybe, I'm not sure, I've lost complete track of time, but I think it was like 2 years ago that I met Tissa and he was talking about the fact that there's such a lack of knowledge, awareness and work and research going on around migraine. And you could tell at that time, there was the energy and the passion and the bringing people together. So it's so great to see that it's actually happened, and we now have the AIM, the Australian Institution of Migraine, and all, of course, the people that are very professional and highly, people that have a lot of expertise in this area that is part of this organisation. As a Member of Parliament, it is so important to have advocacy around whatever issue. I know, for example, recently there's been more funding from a state government level for rare cancers, for example, and that was because of those organisations like the Brain Cancer Foundation coming together and raising awareness amongst government and decision makers as well in order to get extra funding. And I'm sure that this is what's going to happen with such an organisation like this, to advocate on behalf of those suffering migraine, to increase funding for research, for raising awareness. And I think most of us probably know somebody, we've got a family member that has suffered or does suffer from migraine. And it really is not only maybe not very well diagnosed, but also underestimated. I mean, it's just a headache, what are you complaining about? And it would be really so important to make sure that we change that attitude. So thank you for inviting me here to participate in the celebration of the organisation, the foundation of AIM, and I look forward to working with everybody on this journey. Thank you.
Thanks very much. And advocacy is definitely where it's at. Next, I'd like to invite Ms. Lala Yagarajan, who's the Director of Major Initiatives, Partnerships and Government.
Oh, I didn't know what to say. All I can say is I've returned from a week's leave with Professor Jane Gunn, the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, Dentistry and Health Sciences at the University of Melbourne, had asked, thank you, that I attend as her delegate. So I can only really speak broadly that the Faculty of Medicine, Dentistry and Health Sciences at the University of Melbourne is one of the premier faculties of medicine in Australia. The University of Melbourne is the #1 university for research in Australia, and it's ranked in the top 30 in the world. And the University of Melbourne is really looking, with Jane Gunn having launched the Advancing Health Strategy, which complements the Advancing Melbourne Strategy for the university, to continue for the University of Melbourne to be a world leader in pioneering medical research. And it's terrific that Tissa has an appointment with us and with the Florey Institute for Neurosciences and the Melbourne Biomedical Precinct, which houses world-leading research institutes. But there's a commitment to translational research, so not just research that, sure, you're publishing papers, presenting at conferences, but to actually have real-life impact and outcomes in terms of treatments and cures and therapies for people. So it's terrific to see you launch this institute, so congratulations to you and your team for launching this, and it will be exciting to see you progress the establishment of this institute as it heads, I'm sure, in leaps and bounds, but to work in a collaborative way with consumers, with other clinicians, be it physios, OT, social workers, in a multidisciplinary way, and also families and carers, to drive improved economic and social outcomes for people, because you've talked about the impact it has on people in their lives, not just their health, but also the capacity to even hold a job. And so that's really important to see research that actually delivers real benefits for people to actually go about their daily lives. So thank you and congratulations.
Very valuable insights there, thank you. Next, I'd like to welcome the Honorary Craig Ondarchi, Liberal MP for Northern Metropolitan Region.
I too join a long line of people who didn't know they were going to speak today. It is truly an honour to be with you here today because today is a remarkable day. This is not a day just for celebration, but it's a day of embarking. That's something that's very important to Australian life. I too acknowledge the traditional owners and pay respect to their elders, as I do for other elders in the room today, including Wandu Disnayaka, Uncle, as we call him in Sri Lanka, Uncle. It's lovely to see you here with us today as well. Picture this. In a small village in Sri Lanka, my country origin, there was a little boy sitting in a village where electricity, hot water, education, television was a distant memory, miles and miles and miles away. And this little boy would sit on a hill below a tree where the sky kissed the earth, and he would read and read and read to educate himself. And today we celebrate that in you, Tissa, as that little boy who today is launching this wonderful, wonderful initiative. So today we say to you, thank you for the work you've done to get us here so far today. As Tissa says, and can I acknowledge His Excellency, the Consul General of Sri Lanka, who's in the room with us today as well, is a day to celebrate the wonderful things from Sri Lanka as well. A country that's going through a little tough time right now, but a country that survives so heavily on tourism. So before you leave, can you just sign your travel pass to go for your next visit to Sri Lanka as well? We can do with the tourism there. Tissa and I have known each other for quite a while. We had a common friend who passed just at Christmas time as well. We've talked on many occasions about the debilitating causes of migraine, a cause that has affected, as you know, Tissa and others in this room know, my family directly. And it is tough on the patient, it's tough on families, it's tough on relationships as well. So I'm sure, as Mark will tell you, it's tough, and Matt will tell you. Today is a day where we say to Tissa, the teams in Lanka, the teams here, thank you for this initiative. It's also a day where we get behind you and find ways to support you. Now, to my colleague Bronwyn, and both of us sit in the Parliament here, we will find ways collectively to try and support you in some way. Now, there is an election in the air at the moment, one at the end of the year for us, and should I be the Minister at the end of the year, I expect you to come knock on my door and see what we can do about the support of you. So can I just say on behalf of the people of Victoria, indeed the people of Australia, and certainly the very, very proud Sri Lankans in the room today and beyond, thank you, Tissa, for your initiative and congratulations.
Beautiful to go back to Sri Lanka and the childhood Tissa, and yeah, be such an inspiration. Next, I'd like to invite Professor Meg Morris, Deputy Vice Chancellor, La Trobe University, who's also a physiotherapy clinician and academic.
Congratulations, Tissa. Just wonderful. I think the goal of a world without migraine is such an important one, and I think that it is possible for everybody to work together and achieve that. So I think that whatever we do together, we need to have the person living with migraine, their families, and significant others in their lives at the centre of everything we do. But because migraine affects everybody differently, and it can also fluctuate over time, I think we need an interprofessional approach. So we have medical management, sometimes surgical management, and then all of the allied health and nursing disciplines as well to come together to look at things like exercise, physiotherapy, eye health, the diet, occupational therapy, and various nursing interventions and so forth. So I think we need to put together a comprehensive program for each person and their family living with migraine and adapt that to their needs. And I think this type of interprofessional clinic will achieve that goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Meg. I'd like to invite Mrs. Himali Pereira, a Board Director of the Playground Foundation.
Giving me the opportunity to talk at this very important event. In 2019, we established the Australian first ever National Migration Foundation, Migraine Foundation, as a recognized charity. I recall the immense enthusiasm of thousands of Australians from Sydney and Melbourne, raising the awareness of migraine, painful truth, as we come to know that this is indeed the leading painful truth. We know this is indeed the cause of disability in Australia, with 40 billion loss to the economy. We were shocked to hear that the total research allocation to the migraine from 2007 to 2017 was less than 0.07 of the entire portion of the NHMRC funding over the decade. Migraine Foundation Australia wanted to change this. We have been advocating for the dedicated National Migraine Institution for years. We are delighted to be a part of this journey. We kept our strongest support for the annual Lance Crosby Symposium for 4 years as we witnessed the growth of this local education activity in an international meeting in recent years. We know Australian Institute of Migraine launch is a landmark game changer in the field of immense benefit to the community. We congratulate the founders and wish the entire team a very best with their aim of ending migraine. We will continue to be with you all unconditionally. Let us make migraine thing of the past. Please don't forget to join Migraine Foundation. Membership is free. Be an advocate for migraine.
Definitely a game changer. Thank you, Himali. Next, I'd like to invite Professor Bodil Rasmussen, Professor of Nursing, Deakin University and Western Health.
I didn't know that I was going to say a few words. Text this morning, and I'm delighted to do so. I am delighted to be here today and celebrate a big achievement, because it is my role as a chair of nursing in the Western Health. I have observed you for years. Relentless campaigning and research, excellent research work to help people with headaches and migraine. And to see you together with this group of people that is supportive for you, I think there's hope forward, and I think that it is a very important thing. I do not have expertise specifically in migraine, but I lived with my mum who had migraine, so I know how impactful it can be. I am working with lots of chronic conditions, so in any sorts of things, and knowing the impact that it has, and we have heard this afternoon, we are committed, or should be committed to do something about it. Nursing and nurses play a major role, or can play a major integral role in the team, with the biggest part of the health workforce, and we can help people with migraine and their families as well, and the communities as well, by caring, by communicating, by helping people navigating around the system, whatever that is, social help, nursing, medical help. We play an integral role, and I think what I have heard, I am so pleased with others saying we need to work together in a multidisciplinary team. In terms of nursing, I think I looked and think we need more interventions that is based on evidence. So we need to work together for research that can give nurses, all health professionals, some evidence to do a better job. Because it is sad that such a major public health issue is so under-recognized. So very, very pleased to be here today. Hopefully we will be working together, and I think together we can make a difference. So all the best for this, and thank you for having me today.
Nurses do make such a difference, and you're right, working together is what it's all about.
We love you.
Yeah.
And your colleagues. And we don't like the abuse you get either. It's just
We do.
the abuse you get, so good on you.
Yeah, thanks.
Next, I'd like to invite former Mayor, Councillor John Sipek of Moonee Council Valley City. Moonee Council.
Moonee Valley.
Thank you very much, and I'd also too would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I, on the other hand, have been informed about making say a few words for the last 5 or 6 years. Is that right, Professor? Yes, he's been grooming me for about 5 years, telling me all about this new institute that he's going to start, and I've been pondering for 5 years, what am I going to say today? And all I can think of is, this is a seed that's going to be started and in a small little house like this, and the Australian Institute of Migraine, I think is going to expand to being such a big and wonderful institute throughout Australia. It's not only Australia first, it's a world first. And we, as a community, as an Australian community, should be proud that this is going to be a world first institute for migraine. And the only disappointment that I have, Professor, is that you chose the city of Moreland and not the city of Moonee Valley to start it in. So, but I won't hold that against you, okay? Even though he's one of my citizens in the city of Moonee Valley, it's just across the freeway, so it's not too far away. So I'm happy with that. But I suppose I can only go on my own personal thoughts about migraine. As a child, I grew up playing sports, and it was physical sports, was like football, and I did get concussed a few times, did get a few headaches, but I never actually got to the point where the headaches became migraines. And I think the closest thing that I could come to a migraine is, according to the family of Cypex, to my wife and my children, I'm the main cause of their migraines. So that's the only thing, that's probably the closest thing that I can come to. But I hope that this, actually no, I don't hope, no. I know that this institute is going to become renowned throughout the whole world. And I just personally want to say thank you to Professor Tissa, and I think we should all put our hands together for such a great man with a great foresight that's going to be a world-class institute that Australia's going to be very, very proud of. So congratulations. And if you ever need any help from Moonee Valley, please let us know. Thank you.
It's great to get a sense of the local area, and also, you know, from here to Sri Lanka and back. And we've got the world covered, I think, with this institute. Also, this multidisciplinary institute. Next, I'd like to invite Professor Alison McKendrick, who's the Professor of Optometry at the University of Melbourne.
Thanks everyone. I just wanted to say a huge thank you for the invitation today. This is a super exciting initiative. And you know, I really think that everybody involved, Tissa in particular, but everybody else that's involved, you know, should be very, very proud to get this to the stage that it's at. And you know, we're really excited to see where things progress over the next few years. So yeah, I'm from the Department of Optometry and Vision Sciences at the University of Melbourne, and migraine is a condition that often has visual symptoms associated with it, and or visual sequelae of migraine as well. So clinically, optometrists do see people with migraine really quite frequently. And one of the things that I would like to say is, or to highlight, is that TIS has been really quite absolutely fantastic with the multidisciplinary nature of it and the opportunities for both research and education in both directions, and of all the other disciplines working together. And also, obviously the end goal is to improve clinical care. So I'm very excited about this. I, sense that there are everybody in the room is also very excited, and I just wanted to say congratulations on kicking things off.
Thanks, Alison. Next, I'd like to invite someone I met on the Migraine Rally a few years ago, Wasantha Pereira, AIMSS with Western Health.
Hi. Good afternoon, distinguished guests and dignitaries and all our friends from the Migraine Foundation, as well as from the other academic fields and the local community, mayors and representatives, councillors from our local council areas that we know well and have been helping us for a long time. So I represent AIMSS, which is the Australian Institute of Musculoskeletal Science at Western Health, which is an organisation Western Health and Melbourne University and Victoria University combined to put together to help with seniors, especially geriatric patients and the aging community, and we specialize in those sort of areas. And especially Professor Tissa has been actually working with us as well on a few areas from his neurology research projects which connect with some of these areas, as well as using our facilities over there. And personally myself also have been with Professor Tissa's Migraine Foundation for the last 3 or 4 years. And so at this point, on behalf of the Institute, which is AIMSS, and Professor Gustavo Duke, the Director, and Professor Alan Hayes, the Deputy Director, and our AIMSS research community, I extend our warmest congratulations to Professor Tissa's this new organization, Australian Institute of Migraine. So this must be a very well, I would say a big milestone in the next pathways towards finding cure for migraine, as well as to the other related brain disorders. So I think this should be a seed planted today and grow up over the next few years with the support of everyone else here, and also the state and the federal government and Australia together for one of the debilitating illness that all talked about today. Well, let me thanks everyone with us today, and also congratulate to this Professor Tissa for establishing and taking this Pioneer Institute, which is in a very unique format. So all the very best. Thank you.
Thanks, Asantha. Next, I'd like to invite Jason Song for Vision Sciences.
Thanks very much. Obviously, this is another impromptu speech. You wouldn't be surprised with that. First, I'd like to congratulate Professor Tissa for a fantastic achievement, obviously being the world first, right here in Melbourne. I don't want to be so parochial to call it a different district, but Melbourne as a whole. And we wouldn't surprise this takes a lot of tireless work and initiative, but I would not surprise because this is Tissa. Hearing his patient talking about Tissa, that's not surprise at all. But what it also does is taking a risk of establishing something new, a new venture. So I wish you all the best. I have no hesitation to see this become a great success. So I'm executive chair of iTelligence Limited. We're a company that, a medtech company, or medical technology company specializing in AI and automation, using the eye as the window to not your soul, but to your health. So who knows that the back of the retina, through a photo, can tell so many things. Not just eye diseases, as you know, but also neurological diseases and cardiovascular diseases. So With TISA, we want to establish a collaboration with TISA to investigate how do we use the back of eye, and we have developed a fully automatic, the smallest fully automatic camera to work with TISA to detect the back of the eye using imagery, and also movement of eye to discover neurological diseases at its earliest time, and monitoring the patients. So how do you know when you have a headache, a severe headache, persistent, it is malignant or not? It's a serious or not? Unfortunately, CT is not always accessible and not always appropriate, but through a very portable device and artificial intelligence, we can help clinicians like TISA to detect something that's more sinister. So I'd like to thank everybody for supporting TISA. Certainly we will support TISA, and yeah, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Next, I'd like to invite Brendan Haslam from OT Academic.
Thank you very much. It's incredibly flattering to be here among this group of people today, and to be part of this movement with you, TISA, is incredibly exciting. I'm really honoured to be representing the School of Occupational Therapy at La Trobe and the Neurorehabilitation and Recovery Lab as part of the Florey Institute and La Trobe as well. But also in my role as a faculty member for the Neuroorthopedic Institute, which is an institute dedicated to education of health professionals in chronic pain conditions. And as a clinician who works in private practice, who sees people with migraine and other neurological pain conditions on a day-to-day basis, and have always been frustrated at the acceptance of the words pain management. And I'm excited to be part of this program where we're talking about treatments, about cures, about interventions, and particularly excited to see how, as allied health clinicians and professionals, we can be part of a combined approach that is tailored to individuals, so that we are moving beyond that horrible management word and into really making a difference and improving the lives of millions of people. So thank you very much, and excited to be working with you on things and in the implementation of rolling that out to education of other health professionals moving forward. Thank you.
I find that idea of making a difference really exciting, not just about management, but actually changing things. Thanks for that. Next, I'd like to invite the Consul General for Sri Lanka, Mr. Kapila Fonseca.
Thank you very much. I'm extremely sorry for being late, which is not my way. But when I came here, I came for looking for a huge building, entering into a huge building, and I thought that I got the wrong address wrong. But when I saw the signboard outside Australian Institute of Migration, I knew that I came to the right place. And I came inside, and when I saw the dignitaries here and I heard the speeches they made, I knew that how significant and important place this is. And I'm so proud that to be a Sri Lankan once again, because this Professor Tissa, being Sri Lankan in Australia, has collected another achievement into his long list of achievements, and it's not only for Sri Lanka or Australia. I think this is something for all the human beings. So all I can say is congratulations and all the very best, and all my best wishes to the future development of this very important institution. Thank you very much.
We've had such an incredible array of people sharing their enthusiasm and absolute support for the Australian Institute of Migraine. To wrap things up, I'd love to introduce Dr. Dinani Wijeratne.
Thank you. I want to begin by
acknowledging the traditional owners of the land, Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. As a psychiatrist, I'm aware of the myriad of psychological comorbidities associated with migraine and headache disorders. So I'm delighted to be a co-founder of this historic Australian Institute of Migraine. A project like this is not possible without support of many, and we have been really lucky and privileged to have a lot of people supporting this worthy cause. I do apologize in advance if I miss anyone in my vote of thanks. First of all, I want to thank our distinguished guests, members of Parliament and City Council. Thank you for all your support. Our aim is to end migraine. In this journey, it is very important that we build the bridge and bring high quality translational research to Australian Institute of Migraine. This cannot be done without strong partnership with academic colleagues. So I would really like to thank all our academic colleagues who attended today and also colleagues who are supporting us from afar. I'd also like to thank board members of Migraine Foundation. Your support has been exceptionally valuable. Thank you. Migraine Foundation is the charity that supports us. I do have a long list. I'll try and keep this as brief as possible. Special gratitude to Mr. Matt Martin from my Interact group and Petra, his wife. Matt has come all the way from Sydney to support us, so thank you, Matt. Huge thanks to the crew who supported us to get the institute building into this shape. Nilan, Mangala and Vijay, thank you for your relentless hard work. Without you, this wouldn't have been possible, so thank you. Sorry, I'm getting really emotional because I saw how much Nilan and Mangala worked to make this possible. Thank you again. And big thanks to Jinani, Hasita, Charita and his team for all your support. Blanche, Communication Director, thank you. Vijita, our professional photographer, thank you. I'd also like to express our thanks to media, in particular Channel 9 and Channel 10 and ABC and Vishvavahini. Thank you for your support. Huge thanks to all migraine patients and carers who have inspired and motivated us to embark on this amazing project. Thank you. Last but not least, thank you to all of you for attending today, coming and supporting us, as well as everybody here. We've had some people who wanted to be here but was unable to due to unexpected reasons. In particular, Honourable Maria Wemvikinen, Federal Member for Colwell, who has advocated for better migraine care for several years, including a parliamentary speech in Canberra. So special thanks to her. Our hope is that this will be the catalyst for better care for migraine. Let's join together to end migraine. Thank you very much.
That was a very amazing evening, but it's not over yet. There's time to share some snacks and conversations, so if you're able to stick around a little bit longer, please do so. It's great to have launched the Australian Institute of Migraine. Thanks everybody.